Welcome to Inside the Underworld, Hades, Hell, and Hidden Realms of the Dead, where ancient myths unveil the secrets of the afterlife. Journey with us beneath the surface of mythology as we explore the dark domains ruled by Hades in Greek lore, Hell in Norse legend, and other mysterious realms where the dead dwell. What do these ancient cultures truly reveal about death, judgment, and the soul's final destination? Stay tuned as we uncover chilling legends, forgotten truths, and the deeper meaning behind humanity's oldest fears. This is mythology like you've never seen it, raw, real, and revealing. Across cultures and continents, the underworld, realms of the dead and the afterlife, has captured the imagination of humanity since the dawn of storytelling. These shadowy places are not merely settings of torment or rest. They serve as reflections of each culture's beliefs about life, death, morality, and cosmic order. In this exploration, we journey deep into three prominent mythological underworlds: Hades of Greek mythology, Hell of Norse myth, and a comparative glance at other hidden realms of the dead. We will uncover how ancient peoples viewed these invisible domains, what they believed happened after death, and how these mythic places continue to influence modern thought. Part 1. Hades, the Greek underworld. Origins and structure. In Greek mythology, the underworld was often referred to simply as Hades, both the name of the god who ruled it and the realm itself. Hades was not equivalent to Christian hell. It was a neutral place where all souls went after death, regardless of morality. Over time, however, Greek thought evolved to incorporate judgment and separation of souls based on their deeds. The underworld was located beneath the earth, reachable through various entrances like caves, rivers, or even actual geographical locations like Cape Teneron or Lake Avernus. Once a soul crossed the boundary from the world of the living, it entered a realm unlike any other. The Five Rivers. Hades was divided by 5 symbolic rivers: Styx, the river of hatred and the boundary between earth and the underworld; Acheron, the river of pain, which souls crossed with the help of Charon, the ferryman; Lethe, the river of forgetfulness. Souls drank from it to forget their past lives; Phlegethon, the river of fire, linked to punishment; Cocytus, the river of wailing, associated with lamentation. Each river had a symbolic and metaphysical function, guiding the soul's transformation or punishment. The 3 judges and realms of judgment. After death, souls stood before 3 judges, Minos, Rhadamanthus, and Aeacus, who determined their fate. Based on the judgment, souls were assigned to Elysium, Elysian fields of paradise for the heroic and virtuous; Asphodel Meadows, a neutral zone for ordinary souls; Tartarus, a place of punishment for the wicked, liars, and betrayers of the gods. Tartarus is sometimes confused with Hades itself, but it was actually a deep abyss within Hades, reserved for the worst sinners, akin to a hell-like dimension. Hades the god. Unlike later devilish interpretations, Hades the god was not malevolent. He was stern, just, and rarely left his realm. He ruled with the goddess Persephone, whose myth involving her abduction and seasonal return formed the basis of ancient Greek agricultural cycles and death rebirth symbolism. Part 2. Hell, the Norse underworld. The goddess and the realm. In Norse mythology, Hell is both the name of the goddess who rules the underworld and the realm itself. This dual naming mirrors the Greek Hades. Hell is the daughter of Loki, the trickster god, and her domain receives those who die of old age, illness, or non-heroic deaths. Unlike the shining halls of Valhalla, where warriors slain in battle go to feast with Odin, Hell is a colder, more indifferent realm, often described as shadowy and grim. The realm of Hell. Hell lies beneath the world tree Yggdrasil, in a realm called Niflheim, the land of mist and ice. It is separated from the living world by the river Joel, crossed by a bridge guarded by the giantess Modgud. Hell's Hall is named Ljner, meaning sprayed with snowstorms, and her bed is core illness. The atmosphere is one of quiet, slow decay, a place not of active punishment, but of absence, where the dead drift in the memories of who they were. Symbolism and function. Hell is not evil, nor is her realm a place of torture. In fact, most dead go to hell, making it a democratic and practical underworld. This contrasts with Christian heaven-hell duality. Only the honored dead warriors were sent to Odin's Valhalla or Freya's Folkvanger. The Norse underworld reflects a worldview rooted in harsh climates, tragic ends, and acceptance of death as a return to earth and mist. Yet, during Ragnarok, the end of the world, Hell and her dead are prophesied to rise against the gods, playing a role in the cosmic cycle of death and rebirth. Part 3. Hidden Realms of the Dead in Other Cultures. Ancient Egypt, Duat. The Egyptian underworld, Duat, was a labyrinthine realm filled with rivers, gates, and monsters. Souls had to pass through 12 gates, each guarded by a different deity, and ultimately faced judgment by Osiris, the god of the dead. A person's heart was weighed against the feather of Ma'at, truth. If found pure, the soul could enter the eternal paradise of the field of reeds. If impure, it was devoured by Ammit, the soul-leading demon. Duat represents a detailed theology of the afterlife, emphasizing moral accountability and resurrection, a precursor to ideas in Abrahamic religions. Mesopotamia, Irkalla. In Sumerian and Babylonian mythology, the underworld is called Irkalla or Kor, ruled by Ereshkigal, goddess of the dead. It is a bleak, dusty place where all souls, regardless of merit, go after death. Descent into Irkalla was one way. Even the goddess Inanna, Ishtar, had to die and be reborn to return from the underworld, suggesting a powerful metaphor of transformation, death, and resurrection. This somber underworld reflects the Mesopotamian view of life as struggle and death as a long silence, a cosmic reality, not a moral judgment. Mesoamerican realms, Mictlan and Xibalba. The Aztecs believed in Mictlan, a vast underworld ruled by Mictlantecuhtli and Mictecacitl. Souls journeyed for 4 years through 9 levels of hardship to reach rest. This journey was not about judgment, but about spiritual endurance. The Maya imagined Xibalba, a terrifying and dark place filled with trials, lords of death, and illusions. Only the brave or cunning could navigate it. Their myths depict the hero twins Hunahpu and Xbalanque, who journeyed through Xibalba and returned, becoming celestial bodies, a powerful symbol of the cycle of life and death. Thematic analysis. Common threads across cultures. One duality of judgment and journey. Some underworlds, like Greek Hades or Egyptian Duat, focus on judgment and moral outcomes, dividing souls into different post-death destinies. Others, like Hell or Irkalla, view the underworld as a singular place of inevitability. Yet many combine both ideas, the journey through the underworld, symbolic of inner transformation, and the judgment that defines one's eternal place. This dual structure mirrors the human experience of reflection and consequence. 2. The underworld as mirror of life. Underworlds often mirror the social and environmental conditions of their cultures. Greeks, with their emphasis on heroism and honor, gave elite reward Elysium to the best. Norse myths, born in cold, brutal lands, emphasize stoic acceptance of hell for the common folk and glory for warriors. Egyptians, obsessed with order and purity, structured the afterlife as a legalistic trial. In each, the underworld becomes a metaphysical mirror of life's values, fears, and hopes. 3. The role of the dead. In nearly every mythology, the dead are not wholly gone. They may rise again, speak through oracles, or influence the living. This reflects an ancient and persistent human belief that the boundary between life and death is thin, and that the dead matter. Even today, practices like ancestor worship, grave visits, and memorial days echo this ancient worldview. Modern influence and interpretation. Modern literature, film, and video games have borrowed heavily from these mythologies. Hades and Hell appear in Percy Jackson, God of War, American Gods, and countless role-playing games. The persistence of the underworld in storytelling, whether literal or metaphorical, reflects humanity's enduring need to explore the unknown, confront death, and find meaning in what lies beyond. Psychologically, the underworld symbolizes the unconscious. Carl Jung famously referred to the descent into the underworld as a metaphor for inner transformation, facing one's shadow self, and emerging with greater wholeness. The underworld, in its many forms, Hades, Hell, Duat, Irkalla, Mictlan, is more than a place of the dead. It is a spiritual map of human consciousness, morality, and imagination. These realms reveal what ancient peoples valued, feared, and believed about the soul's journey after death. In exploring these hidden domains, we come not only to understand myth, but ourselves. For in the myths of the dead, we discover how the living make sense of life. Across the tapestry of world mythology, the concept of the afterlife, particularly the underworld or hidden realms of the dead, has served as both a spiritual destination and a moral compass. While much attention is often given to Greek Hades or Norse Hell, numerous other cultures conceived elaborate, haunting, and sacred realms where the dead dwell. These realms are not mere curiosities of folklore. They reveal deep philosophical, religious, and cultural ideas about life, death, the soul, and cosmic justice. In this in-depth study, we journey through lesser-known but richly symbolic afterlife beliefs across ancient cultures, from Egyptian Duat and Mesopotamian Irkalla to Hindu Naraka, Mesoamerican Mictlan and Xibalba, Celtic otherworlds, and East Asian Diyu and Yomi. Each of these hidden realms offers profound insight into how humanity has attempted to grapple with the great mystery of what happens after we die. 1. Duat, the Egyptian afterlife. The ancient Egyptians had one of the most detailed conceptions of the afterlife in the ancient world. Duat, also called Tuat or Amenti, was not simply a place of rest. It was an elaborate realm through which the soul must journey after death. The journey was treacherous and filled with trials, monsters, gates, and gods. The journey through Duat. The deceased had to pass through 12 hours or gates of night, representing both a literal and symbolic voyage toward rebirth. Each stage was filled with gods and guardians who could only be appeased with the correct spells, many of which were provided in the Book of the Dead. One of the most critical moments was the weighing of the heart ceremony, overseen by Osiris, Lord of the Underworld. A person's heart was weighed against the feather of Ma'at, truth and justice. If the heart was heavier with sin, it was devoured by the demon Ammit, and the soul was lost forever. But if it was balanced, the soul moved into the field of reeds, a paradise mirroring the ideal life on earth. Symbolic meaning. Duat illustrates the Egyptian obsession with order, Ma'at, and purity, emphasizing moral responsibility and spiritual preparation. The underworld was not a place of indiscriminate torment, but a test of virtue and knowledge, deeply ceremonial and symbolic of cosmic balance. 2. Irkalla, the Mesopotamian underworld. In ancient Sumerian, Akkadian, and Babylonian thought, Irkalla, or Kor, was a bleak and shadowy underworld ruled by Ereshkigal, the queen of the dead. It was a place all souls entered regardless of moral standing. Description of Irkalla. Unlike Hades or Duat, Irkalla was not morally stratified. Everyone went there: kings, peasants, warriors, and children. Souls lived on in a ghostly form, feeding on dust and silence. The realm was guarded by gates and demons, and entry was a one-way journey. No return was possible even for gods. Inanna's descent. One of the most profound stories from Mesopotamia is the descent of Inanna Ishtar. The goddess of love and war descends into Urkala, passes through its gates, and is ultimately killed by her sister Ereshkigal. Her resurrection requires another life in her place, highlighting the cyclical nature of death, sacrifice, and renewal. Meaning and function. Irkala reflects a worldview in which death is inevitable and somber. It underscores a pessimistic cosmology, unlike the moral optimism of Duat or Elysium. Yet in its fatalism, it emphasizes respect for death and the reality of impermanence. 3. Naraka, the Hindu realm of punishment. In Hindu cosmology, Naraka is a realm where sinful souls are temporarily punished. It is not eternal like the Christian hell. Instead, it serves a purificatory purpose, preparing the soul for rebirth. Structure and punishments. Naraka is ruled by Yama, the god of death and justice. After death, the soul Atman is brought to Yama's court, where Chitragupta, his scribe, reads the record of deeds. If the soul has accrued bad karma, it is sent to Naraka for punishment. There are many Narakas, up to 28 or more in some texts, each tailored to a specific vice or sin. For example, Misra, darkness, punishes betrayal. Rurava torments those who hurt others. Maharorava deals with thieves and deceivers. After serving time, the soul reincarnates into a new life, carrying lessons learned. Symbolic value. Naraka represents moral education rather than permanent damnation. It aligns with the Hindu principle of karma and samsara reincarnation. Every action has consequences, but the soul is always evolving toward liberation, moksha. For Mictlan and Xibalba, Mesoamerican afterlife realms. Mictlan, the Aztec underworld. In Aztec belief, Mictlan was the most common destination for the dead. It was ruled by Mictlantecutli and Mictecacitudal, the lord and lady of the dead. Reaching Mictlan was no easy feat. It involved a 4-year journey through 9 levels of dangerous trials, including crossing rivers, mountains, and winds laden with knives. Symbolism. Mictlan was not a place of judgment. It was about perseverance. Only those who died in battle, childbirth, or as sacrifices went to other realms like Tlalocan or Tonatiuhcan. The soul's journey reflected a cosmic struggle and renewal, and the Aztecs saw death as an essential part of the universe's balance. Xibalba, the Maya underworld. For the Maya, Xibalba, place of fright, was the subterranean realm ruled by 12 death gods, including Hunkame and Bukubkame. It was filled with traps, illusions, and deathly trials. The myth of the hero twins, Hunahpu and Xbalanque, tells of their journey into Xibalba, where they outwit the death gods and are resurrected as celestial bodies. Their story is central to the Popol Vuh, the Maya creation epic. Interpretation. Xibalba represents transformation through ordeal. Like other underworlds, it is a symbolic womb where the soul dies to be reborn. Death for the Maya was not an end, but a passage to transformation. 5. The Celtic Otherworld. Celtic mythology paints the afterlife not as a dark underworld, but as a magical otherworld, a place of eternal youth, beauty, and feasting. Names vary by region, and in Wales, Tir na Nog in Ireland, but the concept is similar. Characteristics. The otherworld is usually entered through mounds, city, caves, or lakes. Time flows differently there. A single day might equal 100 years in the mortal world. It is ruled by fairy or divine beings and often described as a land of light, music, and endless joy. Mythical role. Unlike punitive underworlds, the Celtic otherworld is welcoming. It reflects a celebratory attitude toward death, seeing it as a return to nature and the spirit world. The idea of soul migration or reincarnation is also common in Celtic Druidic belief. 6. Yomi and Diu, East Asian realms of the dead. Yomi, the Japanese underworld. In Shinto belief, Yomi no Kuni is the land of the dead, ruled by the goddess Izanami, who became its queen after dying in childbirth. In the myth, Izanagi, her husband, descends into Yomi to retrieve her, but finds her decayed and shadowed, symbolic of death's finality. Yomi is a dark, impure realm, and once entered, one is marked by death's taint, reflected in the concept of Kagar, spiritual pollution. Unlike some other myths, there is no redemption or judgment, just eternal stagnation. Diyu, the Chinese afterlife. Influenced by Buddhism, Taoism, and folk beliefs, Diyu is a complex underground court system, often visualized as 10 courts of hell, each overseen by a judge, Yama King. Souls are punished according to their sins in one or more of the 18 hells, Bashar Badiyu, including Mountain of Knives for betrayal, Lake of Blood for sexual misconduct, Forest of Suicide for those who took their own lives. Souls may be tortured until their karma is purged, after which they drink from the river of forgetfulness and reincarnate. Philosophical implications. Diyu is not eternal, it is corrective. It serves to maintain the cosmic balance of morality and fate, reinforcing Confucian and Buddhist values of virtue, repentance, and renewal. The underworlds and afterlife realms of ancient cultures are as diverse as the peoples who imagine them. Yet, common themes run through them. Moral accountability, Duit, Naraka, Diyu. Inevitability and endurance, Irkala, Miklin. Transformation and rebirth, Zabalba, in Nana's Descent, Hero Twins. Celebration of life beyond death, Celtic otherworlds. These hidden realms reflect the human longing to understand death, not just to fear it, but to place it within a larger narrative of purpose, justice, or harmony. Whether punitive or paradisiacal, these afterlife visions remind. Thanks for venturing into the shadows with us in Inside the Underworld, Hades, Hell, and Hidden Realms of the Dead. These ancient mythologies don't just tell stories, they reflect deep beliefs about life, death, and what may lie beyond. If you enjoyed uncovering these mysterious realms, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more mythological deep dives. Got thoughts or theories about the afterlife? Drop them in the comments below. We'd love to hear them. Until next time, stay curious, stay questioning, and remember, the underworld is never as far away as it seems.